So far, we have mainly discussed different countries and their capital cities. Some of these cities may have caught your interest, while others may not have appealed to you as much. In your opinion, what do you think makes a capital city the most livable in the world? What are the key characteristics that a country's capital should have? Now let's shift our focus to Moscow, the capital of this immense country with the largest land area. We are well aware that Russia is incredibly vast, spanning approximately 17 million square kilometers. Moscow, often regarded as the heart of this colossal nation, is located just east of Belarus and north of Ukraine. Unlike the extremely cold northern regions dominated by Siberia, Moscow is situated in a more temperate and warm part of the country along its western border. In contrast to the bone-chilling temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius in northern Russia, Moscow experiences milder winters, with temperatures hovering around -20 degrees Celsius. Nevertheless, the winter season in Moscow can still be bitingly cold. When we take a closer look at the map of the city, we can see that it doesn't cover a very large area. The total land area of Moscow is only 2,511 square kilometers. Despite this, the number of people living in this area is remarkably high. Moscow, undoubtedly the most popular city in Russia, is home to approximately 19 million people, while the closest city, St. Petersburg, houses 6 million residents. It's quite remarkable that Moscow has been the capital of Russia for over 850 years. Of course, to accommodate this dense population in a small area, high-rise skyscraper buildings have been constructed. In this important city, you can see hundreds of tall buildings. The rental prices for an average apartment here, which are somewhat better than the normal standards, start at 100,000 rubles. The equivalent of these 3-bedroom apartments in dollars is at least $1,000. So if you're considering living in Russia, particularly in Moscow, where the city hosts billionaires from around the world, the cost of living in this city is at least $2,000 per month. You can find apartments for 50,000 rubles, but these apartments are at least 20 years old and located far from the city center or are very small. Nearly half of the world's capital cities are situated along a coastline, but Moscow does not have any nearby seas. The city is graced by the Moscow River, which flows through its center, providing a peaceful recreational spot for the Russian people year-round. The river has been connected with small bridges to facilitate land connections for the residents. The famous Moscow Kremlin Palace is located in the very heart and center of the city. This palace is one of Russia's biggest symbols, and almost everyone who visits Russia has a photo taken in front of it. Today, it is also Putin's official residence, since it's the city of high courts, the center of the country's administration, and the playground of wealthy oligarchs. You can often see luxury official vehicles with sirens blaring, causing traffic jams in the city. Let's also mention that in Russia there are many palaces with the name Kremlin. On the other hand, the well-known Red Square, as it's commonly referred to in English, is located in the capital. The square's surroundings are paved with cobblestone roads, and there's not a speck of litter in sight. Red Square is the most popular area where tourists visiting Moscow like to spend their time. The architecture in this city is the lifeline built on a strong foundation. Red Square here is so vast that when presidents like Putin make speeches or on national celebration days, it's filled to the brim with millions of people. Another symbol of Moscow, the historic St. Basil's Cathedral, stands proudly in Red Square and is one of its greatest icons. At the moment, there aren't many foreign tourists visiting the square due to Russia's strained diplomatic relations with the West, which has led to a decrease or suspension of flights by Western airlines to Russia. Despite this, Moscow remains a bustling and lively city throughout the year, thanks to its large population and abundant resources. One of the key signs of this vibrancy is the frequent festivals held in the city. If you're fortunate, you may come across these captivating festivals during your visit. While these events might be regular occurrences for the locals, they are likely to be fascinating for visitors from outside Moscow. Currently, much of the world is still experiencing the summer months. In Moscow, people are enjoying the warm weather, strolling around in short sleeves. The city is bustling with life, both during the day and in the evening. Despite its historical impacts, Moscow offers an active and comfortable way of life. The streets are filled with people in groups of friends, and it's rare to see someone walking alone. Some sit on benches chatting with friends, others share stories in cafes, and some even have their photos taken by photographers in the streets. The photography scene in Moscow is quite remarkable. In the city center, professional photographers with high-end cameras offer their services to capture the beauty of the Russian people. They set up backdrops in busy spots and provide a professional background for those who want their photos taken. However, there's really no need for this, as every corner of Moscow, its parks, rivers, streets, and architecture provides ample opportunities for perfect photographs. Russian people, especially women, really enjoy having their pictures taken. Even if you take their pictures without them noticing, when they realize it, they don't react aggressively or angrily. Instead, they smile and pose for the camera. It's clear that Russians frequently have their phones in hand, always taking photos of themselves, even if you're not photographing them. It appears that Russians don't just seek approval from others, but also from themselves. Moscow boasts architecture reminiscent of Western European styles, with each architectural wonder holding iconic status for the country. The city largely meets the expectations of an ideal place to live. If you want to dine out, there are hundreds of restaurant options available. Likewise, if you're tired of visiting the same park or nightclub, there are plenty more to explore. If you enjoy meeting new people, Moscow has an abundance of fresh faces to encounter. When you observe people's faces, you can clearly see the characteristics of the Slavic race. About 8 out of 10 people have fair skin and are often blonde, and many Russians have blue or green eyes. Beauty, of course, is subjective, but there's no denying the global fascination with the Slavic appearance. Russians seem to be aware of this attention, which likely contributes to their high self-confidence. Additionally, Russians dress quite elegantly, not just when they're going out at night, but even during casual daytime meetups with friends. Moreover, Russia offers significant income-earning opportunities. To afford the vibrant Moscow lifestyle, a net income in the range of $4,000 to $5,000 per month is needed. Otherwise, the luxurious lifestyle could strain your budget. If Moscow is too expensive, you might consider living in the city of Vladimir, located just east of Moscow. In the eastern part of Russia, you'll find the large and lively city of Kazan. If you prefer a city that's less crowded but still well-developed and located near the Finnish border, then St. Petersburg is the place for you. It's situated north of Moscow. Moscow doesn't just attract adults, it also draws young people from all over Russia. This is because the city is home to the country's largest technical universities. Young individuals come here to pursue education that can open doors to international career opportunities. Moscow is now home to 13 universities, making it a city that appeals to people of all ages. Russia is a predominantly Orthodox Christian country. However, the religious structure and style of governance do not interfere with the clothing and lifestyles of its people. People are free to dress and live as they choose without societal or governmental pressure. In Moscow, people enjoy dancing not only in venues but also on the streets. They exhibit a zest for life that is on par with Western European lifestyles, full of energy and a love for fun. Moscow's residents are highly motivated, which also provides a means of livelihood for young people who want to earn money by playing music. Musicians playing various instruments can be found on every street corner, so while strolling through Moscow, you might constantly hear beautiful melodies. Additionally, in the evening during sunset hours, Moscow's sidewalks start to fill up with people and you can hardly find an empty pavement. Even if people don't go to cafes, they fill up these parks and sidewalk areas with their loved ones. In Moscow, it's common to see people parking their cars in a corner, opening their car trunks, and enjoying hookah. If there's no space in parks, some individuals take their hookahs and drinks to enjoy in the open air in the trunks of their cars. Instead of eating and drinking, some people prefer to spend time chatting by the green banks of the Moscow River. It's also common to see Russians using benches for various activities in the evenings. One noticeable aspect of Moscow streets is that despite the population being relatively young, there is a high consumption of tobacco products. The city has a small elderly population over 65, and you'll mainly see people under 50 on the streets. Elderly individuals are often spotted in the metro and don't attract much attention on the streets. Speaking of the metro, it's worth noting that Moscow has one of the world's largest and most extensive metro networks. This city boasts a transportation network detailed enough to match the splendor of a capital, and what's more, Moscow's metro stations, like other Russian metros, have quite impressive architecture. These ultra-stylish metro designs inherited from the Soviets are truly one of Russia's best features. To show you this better, you can observe for yourself just how elegant and clean each metro station in Moscow is. Across the country, Russia's metro system hosts more than 160 stations on 11 lines. One remarkable aspect of Moscow is the high number of luxury cars. You'll notice these luxury cars especially in the evening, and each one is absolutely stunning. No matter where you look, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, and other types of luxury cars suddenly appear before your eyes. There's a street in the city called Malaya Bronnaya, where Moscow's elite reside. Taxis are abundant, and the wealthy often spend their time. In Moscow's streets like Malaya and Petrovka, you can find the most expensive branded shopping centers and the most luxurious vehicles. In the evenings, you can experience the traffic and crowds of these streets. Moreover, because Moscow is a cosmopolitan and multinational city, you can easily overcome communication barriers with English, even if you don't speak Russian fluently. The city's diverse population also means that you can find dishes that suit your taste, reflecting its rich food culture. Additionally, Moscow's bustling streets are popular among newlyweds for their wedding celebrations. Many people choose Moscow's upscale neighborhoods for their weddings, so if you see multiple bride and groom pairs and hundreds of guests gathered around the Moscow River, it's a common sight. The wedding ceremonies in Moscow are not extravagant. Instead, they are simple, with intimate gatherings of close family and friends. Today, despite political challenges, Moscow has a vibrant and secure atmosphere. It seems that this city will continue to be one of the world's most coveted and intriguing capitals. The people of Moscow appear content with living in their country, and there are no signs of fear or restriction on their faces. If you enjoy city videos like this, you can support the channel by liking the video and subscribing for future content. See you in the next one. Goodbye.